I shall call thy message to reach all the corners of the earth.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to this week's Roundup. In this episode, we'll be hearing from our reporters around the world as they bring you their findings on some fascinating topics.
That's right, in today's episode we'll be hearing about the fast food industry, then heading over to Canada to learn about the Islamic month of Shawwal, and you know what, we're going to be looking at some crocodiles as well later on in the show. A bit more about that later on. And then at the end of the show we'll be heading over the Kolkata Book Fair.
Before all that, Jangi, let's take a look at some of the important headlines from this week.
6 people have died having suffered from a fever after testing positive for Omicron, according to a report by North Korean state media on Friday. It said 187,000 people with a fever were being isolated and treated, while experts believe the virus has been present in the country for some time. The authorities only just announced the first cases on Thursday. North Korea's population of 25 million is vulnerable due to a lack of a vaccination program and poor healthcare. At least 11 people have died and 31 suspected migrants were rescued on Thursday after a vessel capsized near Puerto Rico. A US Customs and Border Protection aircrew spotted the troubled vessel and people in the water on Thursday morning. According to the Coast Guard, the vessel was about 10 nautical miles north of Desecheo Island. The nationality of the suspected migrants is unknown. Thousands gathered in the West Bank city of Ramallah on Thursday to mourn slain Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. The Palestinian Authority vowed to take the case to the International Criminal Court, the ICC. The Palestinian-American media person was shot dead on Wednesday while reporting on Israeli military raids in the West Bank city of Jenin. Akleh's producer Alias Samoudi was also shot and is in a stable condition. Al Jazeera has accused Israeli security forces of deliberately targeting and killing her. Her death has been met with regional and international outrage and calls for accountability. The first image of the massive black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy has been revealed. The image, unveiled on Thursday, is from the international consortium behind the Event Horizon Telescope, which consists of 8 synchronized radio telescopes from around the world. The project cost nearly $60 million, or £49 million, with $28 million, or £23 million, coming from the US National Science Foundation. A passenger with no flying experience landed a plane in Florida after the pilot passed out. In an audio recording from the flight, the passenger Darren Harrison can be heard telling air traffic control a serious situation was unfolding. An air traffic controller, who also teaches new pilots, helped guide the man down to Palm Beach International Airport just after noon on Tuesday. Neither passengers nor cabin crew had any injuries.
Did you know there are more than 40,000 McDonald's worldwide, considering the ever-growing presence of fast food chains like Subway, Starbucks, KFC, Pizza Hut and Burger King around the world? It's no secret that fast food is increasingly becoming more and more popular.
And though it may be convenient and easy to access, it's quite harmful for our health. Let's find out a bit more about fast food and its impact in this report from our UK reporter, Usman.
There is so much fast food all around us that it's hard not to be tempted by the fast, tasty, and cheap food that big chains have to offer. The number of fast food shops has exploded. The UK, for example, has seen a 34% increase in fast food outlets, and 37% of 16 to 24-year-olds are either obese or overweight. The number of people ordering from apps like Uber Eats and Just Eat has also skyrocketed, meaning that your favorite foods are just a tap away. Thank you. But have you ever thought about what exactly is in the fast food you love to eat? So we all know that fast food isn't very healthy. So why do we keep eating it? Well, fast food became very popular for its speed. And some people say that it's cheaper and more convenient than cooking at home. But is this convenience worth filling our bodies with unhealthy, unnatural food? I'm going to speak to a nutritionist to find out more. What are some of the unnatural ingredients in fast food, and why are they there?
Fast food contain a lot of artificial ingredients, and some of them are the coloring agents, sweeteners, sugars, and other chemical ingredients that are in the fast food. They are there for preservation purposes and for flavor purposes. And fast foods also contain a lot of refined carbohydrates, saturated fats, and a lot of sodium.
Okay, that I understand. What are some of the long and short-term impacts of eating fast food?
You tend to get more tired, and you generally tend to get more hungry within short amount of time that you've had the fast food meal. Some of the other short-term effects are increased blood pressure and inflammation. In terms of long-term effects, fast food is generally associated with obesity, heart diseases, and even mental illnesses.
Is it more expensive to eat at home?
So when you're buying a single fast food meal, at that moment it feels like it's not that expensive, but in the long term, it is generally much less expensive to cook at home.
So how do our viewers eat healthier at home?
So a healthy homemade meal consists of a number of things. It includes complex carbohydrates, protein, fruits and vegetables, and fish, and we need to be eating more whole food. So in our plate, it should be half of the plate should be filled with fruits and vegetables, a quarter of it with protein, and a quarter of it with complex carbohydrates.
Jazakallah Baji for answering our questions. That was really helpful. You know what? I'm going to give that a go. So we know that fast food can be very harmful in the long and short term. It may be a little more effort, but making your own delicious meal at home is often far healthier and easier on the wallet. Oh, this looks delicious.
That was incredibly insightful. Good health is really important and we should not take it for granted.
That's right, Jahangir. As MD Muslims, we are so fortunate to be able to get weekly guidance from our beloved Hazur, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, on so many matters.
Indeed, Jinnah. Hence why next we'll be heading to our summary recap into our beloved Hazur, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz's Friday sermon from this week.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. Last Friday, Hazur continued to speak about Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu, the first Khalifa of Islam. Did you know Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu's kindness can be seen from the fact that he paid 40,000 dinars out of his own pocket to help free 8 slaves, the most famous one being Hazrat Bilal radhiyallahu anhu. During this week's sermon, Hazur said that he would continue mentioning the efforts made by Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu against the disorders which happened during his time. Beloved Hazur Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz said that Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radhiyallahu anhu also led his army towards Malik bin Nuwayra. Malik bin Nuwayra was from Banu Yarbu. He had accepted Islam in 9 after Hijrah, along with his tribe, of which he was the leader. He had been chosen by the Holy Prophet ﷺ as the collector of zakat from his people. Hazur Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz said that after the demise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was among the people who left Islam. In fact, he was very happy upon the demise of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He also killed those Muslims from his tribe who remained firm upon offering zakat and sending it to Medina. Not only did he leave Islam, he also refused the offering of zakat and returned the collected wealth of zakat to the people. Beloved Hazur said that Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu had instructed Khalid bin Walid radhiyallahu anhu to stop the disorder created by Malik bin Nuwayra. There are sayings that Nuwayra was killed during this time. One night when it was very cold, Hazrat Khalid radhiyallahu anhu said that the prisoners should be kept warm. However, there were some who misunderstood what he had said and thought he had instructed for the prisoners to be killed, as a result of which Nuwayra was also killed. Hazur Ayyadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz said that Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu summoned Hazrat Khalid bin Walid radhiyallahu anhu and asked him what had happened. He explained everything to Hazrat Abu Bakr and expressed his regret, upon which Hazrat Abu Bakr forgave him and offered the blood money for Nuwaira. Hadur Aydallahu Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz said that there was an allegation made against Hazrat Khalid radiallahu anhu that he had married Nuwaira's wife during the time of battle without waiting for the set period to pass. Hadur Aydallahu Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz presented an explanation by Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz Delvi, who said that this was made up against Hazrat Khalid radiallahu anhu. If he did marry her, then history shows Nuwaira had already divorced his wife but had kept her in his home. Therefore, Hazrat Khalid married her after she had been divorced and after the waiting period had already passed. Dear brothers and sisters, this was just a very brief summary of last week's Friday sermon, which was filled with many interesting stories and incidents. We hope you are able to hear the full sermon, which can be found on mta.tv. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah for that summary. Jenna, for our next segment, I've got a quick question for you. How many reptiles can you name?
Reptiles, let me think. Snakes, alligators, and turtles. Any more?
There are a few more. Today we'll be visiting Childers, Australia to learn about another type of reptile, the crocodile.
Assalamu alaikum. Today, we're here at Snakes Down Under Reptile Park and Zoo, here in Childers, Queensland. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at crocodiles. Did you know that Australian saltwater crocodile is the largest reptile in the world? In Northern Territory, Australia alone, there are estimated to be around 100,000 saltwater crocodiles. That's almost one crocodile for every two people that live there. Now, come join us as we take a closer look at these crocodiles. So I'm here with Juliana at Snakes Down Under in Queensland. She's going to tell us more about these giant reptiles. How are you today, Juliana?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So how many different species of crocodile found in Australia?
So we have two. We've got the freshwater crocodile and we've got the big saltwater crocodiles.
What's the difference between them?
So freshwater crocodiles are a smaller crocodile. They've got a long, narrow snout, very maximum 2.5, potentially 3 for a male, big male. But look, weight-wise, probably no more than 100 kilos. Your salties can grow to 5-6 metres or more, and they could end up being a tonne or more of crocodile. Yeah, so much bigger crocodile. Freshwater crocodiles are built for eating fish. They got the long, narrow snout for that. Whereas salties, a big salty, anything that's meat, kangaroo, wild pig, people if they do the wrong thing.
That's quite scary. Yes. So how long can crocodiles get?
So the largest ever recorded was shot back in 1957. It was 8.63 metres long.
How old do they get?
They can live into their 80s, 90s or even longer, particularly a male. Yeah.
So could you tell us the difference between crocodiles and alligators?
So your saltwater crocodiles have got a broader snout. They've got top and bottom interlocking teeth. They've got something that's called a sensory organ, which is a little black spot that's on all down the body, and that helps them to pick up vibrations. Now, saltwater crocodiles, or crocodiles in general, have got them all over their body. Alligators, they've got a rounder snout and they've got overbite, so their teeth sort of sit over the top, and those sensory organs only on their heads, only around their mouth and their heads, and nowhere else down the body. Alligators also, you won't find those in Australia. They're from over in America, over in the Florida region and all that, yes.
How long have they been around? Because I've heard that they're like dinosaurs.
Well, not dinosaurs, living with the dinosaurs. Over 200 million years they've been around. So they're around with the dinosaurs, but they're not a dinosaur. And they got it right, so they haven't changed a lot in the last 60 million years.
That's
pretty
quite
good.
Magnificent.
It is, yes.
Wow, that was amazing. Today, I learned that the largest crocodile ever recorded was 8.5 meters long. That's like this big. One thing that you should remember now is that you should never sneak up on a crocodile because they're always listening to you. Thank you for joining. Next time, join us on our journey where we take an even closer look at these prehistoric beasts.
Thank you for the informative report, Yasser. Crocodiles have always scared me, but they're actually really cool creatures.
I'm still going to be avoiding them. On this program, we've been learning about the Islamic calendar. The Islamic calendar is also known as the Hijri calendar, and it consists of 12 months.
This next report is about the Islamic month of Shawwal, which comes to us from the other side of the world. Let's tune into this report from Canada by Osaf.
Assalamu alaikum, we're back. Today we'll cover another month in the Islamic Hijri calendar. Previously we covered Ramadan. Now with its end, we welcome the new month of Shawwal, the 10th month in the Islamic Hijri calendar. That's right, Sharyar, I completely forgot.
Eid Mubarak to everyone from us here at MTA International Canada Studios. We hope you had a great Eid and gained maximum benefits from the blessed month of Ramadan. Now with Eid, we also mark the starting of the month of Shawwal. But what exactly does that mean? Let's go to Rabbi Basil Bart Sahib to find out more.
So after the month of Ramadan comes the 10th month of the Islamic calendar. That is the month of Shawwal. This year it's going to be running from the 2nd of May to the 30th of May 2022. The month of Shawwal has a very beautiful background in terms of its name, because the name Shawwal comes from the Arabic verb shala. And shala in Arabic means to lift or carry something. And the people that wrote the definition of Shawwal said that this verb is a reference to the she-camel that would become pregnant in this season. And this pregnancy was a beautiful symbol of the arrival of new life after the month of Ramadan. So in that context comes probably the most important event that almost every single Muslim knows about, which happens in the month of Shawwal. That is on the 1st of Shawwal, the celebration of Eid al-Fitr, or the small Eid as we call it. In this Eid, we all gather together to recall the blessings from the month of Ramadan. We come together, we offer a special prayer that is called the Eid prayer, and after that, we go back home and we wear beautiful clothes, we cook delicious foods, and all of this is done to recall the blessings of Allah so that we feel grateful for the blessings that Allah has given us. And of course, kids get Eid, they get a bit of gifts from their elders, so it's a very happy time, but all to remember how we should be grateful for these blessings that Allah has given us. After the Eid though are 6 particular days, and in those 6 days, that is the 6 days after Eid in Shawwal, the Holy Prophet ﷺ used to keep fasts as well. And those 6 fasts have a very important significance. The Holy Prophet ﷺ says that the person who kept all the 30 fasts of the month of Ramadan and also the 6 fasts of Shawwal, it is as if he has consistently fasted for the entire year. And so it's to give a beautiful sort of conclusion to the work that you had started, and you mean to say that you're not becoming completely oblivious of fasting and the practice that you were engaged in the month of Ramadan. Now, another very important point to remember for the month of Shawwal is regarding Hajj. We obviously know that the main parts of Hajj are performed in the month of Dhul Hijjah, but there are certain acts of Hajj that can actually be performed in the month of Shawwal as well. And so Shawwal is technically also considered that time period where the season for Hajj, that is the greater pilgrimage, also basically starts. From Islamic history though, we also know another very important incident that happened also in the month of Shawwal. That was the famous Battle of Uhud, the second famous major battle that the Muslims fought against the Meccans. And we know of all the difficulties the Muslims faced, but in the final end, they safely returned back to Medina. In more recent history, when it comes to Islam Ahmadiyyat, the birth of the promised Messiah ﷺ, which was on the 13th of January in 1835, happened in the month of Shawwal as well. Then aside from that, if you come slightly more in the recent times, in the year 1883 was the year when the foundation was laid of the famous Mubarak Masjid in Qadian in India. And this was extended and then renovations took place as well. The steps were made. All that happened also in the month of Shawwal. Now, one very important point you want to keep in Shawwal, and this is probably the main highlight that you could take away from this, is Shawwal should be a month where if you have formed good habits in the month of Ramadan, do not let go of them. Stick to them, keep those habits. And Shawwal is the month where you want to remember these because it's going to become more permanent. So whatever good habits you got in Ramadan, you keep them together and you keep those in the month of Shawwal as well.
So today we learned what it is that Muslims do during the month of Shawwal. Starting with Eid to celebrate the end of Ramadan, to continued fasting for even more blessings. That is why Shawwal is truly a special month. That's your roundup for today. I'm Musaf Ahmed reporting from MT International Canada Studios. See you next month in Zulqa'dah.
Jazakallah Saf for that report.
Now it's time to hear what you, our viewers, had to say about the topics we've covered today.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anmol Qudsiya. I think we should not eat fast food every day. Although it's so delicious, it is always not healthy. So maybe we can enjoy them in holidays.
Well, technically you shouldn't eat fast food at all. It wasn't a thing for so long. But now that fast food is a big part of our lives and it's all around us constantly, it's very hard to not eat it at all. However, we should really try to limit it as much as we can.
Instead of getting fast food, we made nandos at home.
As always, Jazakallah for contributing and sending in your views on the topics we talk about. We always look forward to hearing what you have to say. Remember to keep an eye out on our social media at Roundup MTA on Twitter and Instagram for a preview of our topics so you can have a chance to be featured.
We have so many avid readers amongst our viewers. Let's now head over to India, where we'll be visiting an international Kolkata Book Fair. Let's scope it out in this report by Mahmud.
Welcome to the 45th International Kolkata Book Fair. The Book Fair 2022 began on Monday, 28th February and ended on Sunday, 13th March. This year, the theme country is Bangladesh and is dedicated to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
After the Frankfurt Book Fair and the London Book Fair, the Kolkata Book Fair is the world's largest annual collection of books event.
Ahmadiyya Muslim community has been taking part in this fair for the past 42 years. This year too, our Kolkata chapter participated in the event by the grace of Allah and the prayers of Khalifatul Masih. The true and peaceful teachings of Islam was conveyed to a large number of people.
আমাদের প্রিয় খলিফা আল্লাহ তাআলার অস্তিত্ব সম্পর্কে মানুষকে জ্ঞাত করানো আর তাদেরকে তাওহীদের সঙ্গে যুক্ত করার জন্য আল্লাহকে চেনার জন্য বারবার আমাদেরকে নির্দেশ দিয়েছেন। তাই এই বইমেলার মাধ্যমে এই স্টলের মাধ্যমে আমরা সমগ্র মানুষ যারা আমাদের কাছে আসছে তাদেরকে আমরা এই বিষয়ে অবগত করছি যে আপনারা আল্লাহকে চিনুন, আল্লাহকে ভয় করুন এবং আল্লাহকে ডাকুন, তবেই এই বিশ্বের সমস্ত বিপদ থেকে আপনারা রক্ষা পেতে পারেন।
Historically, the Kolkata Book Fair draws a large number of crowds every year. It is now the world's largest non-commercial book fair and Asia's largest book fair. It has now become an integral part of our lifestyle. Jazakallah Mahmud, that's amazing. I hope all the attendees were able to benefit from this event.
That's it for this episode of Roundup. Thanks for tuning in and don't forget to join us next week when we'll be covering even more exciting topics from around the world.
As always, we love hearing what you have to say, so continue to send us your feedback on our social media channels or email us at roundup@mta.tv.
Until next week, Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, I shall call, oh, I shall call, I shall call, oh, I shall call, I shall call. Thy message to reach all the corners of the earth. Oh, I shall call, oh, I shall call, I shall call, oh, I shall call, I shall call. Thy message to reach all the corners of the earth.